32, and for Anubis Empire we have 2 AMX 50s and 3 IS3s, and of course two tier 1 tanks.
Yeah. So it's a pretty even setup. They both have 5 heavy tanks. So if this does come to a close quarter combat situation, definitely neither team really has a huge advantage. I mean, those AMX 50s slightly less armor than those IS3 counterparts, but definitely more damage will come out from those AMX 50s. So it really comes out to positioning and how these teams kind of engage each other.
Yeah, and right from the get-go, we see You Are Dead just spreading out on the map. They have tanks everywhere. They're sending their T1s pretty far forward, actually, to the opposite end of the field. Yeah. And actually, one of the tanks is spotted already.
Yeah, so actually that position that the T1 just took over there on the southeastern part of that field, it's actually a really good position because there's buildings on both sides. So once you actually make it into that corner, it's going to be really hard for the enemy to actually kill you because they have to go all the way around those ruins. And then if you do, try and risk, to go for that T1 kill, then the rest of the team, could possibly just back you up.
Yeah, you can definitely get there really fast with that T1, and then you just have so much backup with the heavy tanks in the back. But anyway, on the map already we see You Are Dead already sending 5 of their heavy tanks up towards that eastern side. 2 of them are going pretty far up already.
Yeah, so I think those 2 heavy tanks that are up there right now, they're just going to spot just to see if any of the You Are Dead members are up there. But I don't believe You Are Dead actually sent any of their tanks up there just yet. They might have sent a T1, but I don't think that, any of the members are up there at this current moment. And the rest of the Anubis members right behind those first 2 tanks up there. And we'll have to see what You Are Dead decides to do if they actually do spot this push.
Yeah, I think when we had vision on them, they were sending one of their T1s up there just to spot, but the rest of the tanks were very spread out on the map.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, You Are Dead definitely a much more spread out team. I mean, I even think they had a couple tanks on the western edge as well. I mean, they could have pulled those back by now, but I mean, I think what You Are Dead are trying to do is, they're up against an inexperienced team, and they're up against a team that no one has ever seen before. So what they could be doing right now is just kind of getting a feel to what kind of strategies Anubis like to pull out.
Yeah, and that's actually a really good idea because some of these newer teams, they get nervous. They could go for a really super aggressive all-in push and do something crazy, and you got to just be ready for that, especially in the
those
first
heavy
set.
tanks on the hilltop have been spotted by that T1, so You Are Dead now know at least 2 heavy tanks up on the hilltop. They could go for a middle field push if they decide to do so, because if they engage the team on the southern edge of the map, then they will know that Anubis have 2 members on the hilltop. So it's definitely an option for them, but they aren't in the position right now to actually go for a push. So what they could be doing right now is they are moving towards that western edge, and they could go for a western push and kind of flank the enemy from the western side.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. They have their scouts in really good positions. They already spotted 2 of those heavy tanks, like you just said, and that other one who's in the opposite side of the field. And they probably think that they have the rest of the heavy tanks backing up the 2 heavy tanks, because if you see 2 on the ridge, you're not just going to have 2 on the ridge, really. You might have 1 blocking the middle field, but most of the time, if you've committed so many tanks already up there, you probably have a lot to back it up.
Yeah, exactly. So You Are Dead actually counteracting the strategy, going for a railway push on the western edge, sending 3 tanks down now. I don't know if they're actually going to go for a full-on push, but Anubis now with 3 tanks on this hilltop. So if You Are Dead do decide to push, they might be in a little bit of trouble, because when Anubis actually pushes down the hill, You Are Dead won't have any forces to actually back up that push, to defend that push.
And that T1 from You Are Dead spotting that right now, that one of the Anubis tanks is going pretty far aggressive, but that is the only one they saw. Anubis were pretty good scouting position as well. They sent one of their T1s over there because they know they're already committing so much to the eastern side. They got to have that scouted if they come down that railway.
So they are now hesitating to push out because they know that Anubis might push onto their base. So if they go for a western push, then they could be in complete danger for a base capture. So they are wisely backing up from this, only sending 1 of their heavy tanks down, 1 of their AMX 50s down to the Anubis base. And right now Anubis don't have any members on that western edge, so this is actually a really good move coming out from You Are Dead, because they realize that most of the tanks are going to be on the eastern edge, either up on the hill or at the base of the hill, at least on the eastern edge. So with that 1 AMX 50 they did send down the western side down the railway, it will provide them more options later on.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea what they did there. They probably knew, since Anubis is pushing up that eastern side, they have to have a scout over there. So sending 1 guy to take out the scout, and now Anubis has lost a lot of vision, especially since they just lost their other scout. So now they're in a bit of a a quandary. Like, do they send most of their tanks up on the eastern ridge? No, it seems like they have to back off now.
Yeah.
They have to protect now.
Yeah, now You Are Dead. Great retaliation from that hilltop push. They forced Anubis to back up because if basically they told Anubis, hey, if you guys continue to push on this hill, we're going to take your base.
Yeah. And Anubis responding well. I mean, they're sending 3 tanks over here towards the bottom side of this field.
Yeah, so Anubis going possibly for a western side push right now. We'll have to see what You Are Dead are going to try and do now. They could, I mean, You Are Dead are kind of playing back and forth right now. They're sending their tanks towards the western edge, maybe possibly going for a push, but then they spot an enemy on the hilltop. So like, oh no, let's wait. They might be pushing on this hilltop. Like, let's kind of defend our base. And then once if they manage to spot one of these heavy tanks, in this field area, then they actually could go for a hill push of their own.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I think You Are Dead is really good at, is responding to information. They see the 2 tanks on the hill, they get an idea of where Anubis is and what kind of strategy they want to do, and they kind of respond to it. They went for a western push, and then once they saw that Anubis was going far down the eastern side, they sent a guy to take out the scout, and then they pulled back because they had to be defensive, but they want to put on some pressure as well.
Exactly, so Anubis now deciding what to do. They are going for a fairly defensive setup right now. They do have 2 of their heavy tanks right by their base, so they are extremely scared of a You Are Dead push that could come out. But You Are Dead, I really don't think they're going to risk anything too big, especially in this first set, because I mean, you really don't want to lose that first set. That first set gives you so much momentum, and if you lose that, then that's pretty much, you have to win 2 more games to come out on top.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I mean, in this first set, there's too much to lose in the first set. You basically have to be more passive unless you want to take the enemy by surprise. And since Anubis is a new team, You Are Dead doesn't really want to do that. And since Anubis is probably a little nervous since they are a new team, they're probably not going to go for a big maneuver in this first game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what You Are Dead they love to do is they love to creep up on the enemy team. We could see a creep up, we could see, we have had vision on You Are Dead actually in quite a long time, so we're not exactly sure onto what their team's up to right now. But they could be setting up for a push right now. You Are Dead, they love to kind of wait and then kind of wait for the enemy team to get, oh yeah, and they are going for push right now. Yeah, You Are Dead pushing down that western railway area with all 5 of their heavy tanks, and they have 1 T1 actually on the southeastern corner of the field. So if Anubis decides to push down the eastern edge, they will be able to spot them. But right now, You Are Dead, they're expecting Anubis to be somewhere around their base, and they're slowly creeping up, and they're gonna go for quite possibly a surrounding maneuver.
Yeah, You Are Dead, even though it is the first set, you can only play so passive against a new team. You want to take it to them in the first set.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the Anubis members coming out here, both of the shots missed him, but now he's taking a bit of damage. He needs some help from his allies.
Calatini, yeah, taking a lot of damage, taking down to about 60%. So great shots, and another good shot coming out from the You Are Dead members. Soldieroo taking a little bit of damage. Same with Oi123, and the You Are Dead members are now moving in for the surrounding maneuver. Anubis gonna get surrounded.
Oh, Anubis, I don't think they saw this coming. They're getting flanked hard right now, and they can't move really. They have too many heavy tanks on them right now.
They did trade a AMX-54 and AMX-50, so it is slightly tied up right now. I would have to give it the advantage to You Are Dead right now, because the Anubis members are much lower than the You Are Dead team. And right now, yeah, the You Are Dead members continuing to push and taking out an IS-3, another IS-3 about to get taken down right here. Same with the AMX-50. So yeah, the AMX-50 about to go down here really low, and only an AMX-50 and an IS-3 are left. So now the base capture also has been started on You Are Dead, and You Are Dead looks like they're going to take this first set.
Yeah, that was a really nice maneuver there. They just went around for the flank. I don't think Anubis had enough spotting. Like, they didn't see those tanks coming around, and they just got taken by surprise. Yeah. I think if they had a little better positioning and they were accounting for that possibility, then maybe they could have done better in the first set.
Honestly, they just gave You Are Dead way too much time. You don't want to play too passively, especially against a team like You Are Dead. If you give You Are Dead too much time, they're going to surround you. They're going to find a way to find a weakness in your defense and come at you. So basically, Anubis, they did a good job. They went for the hilltop push. They almost pushed that advantage, but then they pulled back because they were a little bit scared of a You Are Dead push. And then once they kind of just stayed in their base,